Welcome back to my channel, everyone, and if you're new here, hello. My name is Ava, I'm a medical doctor, and on this channel, I mostly talk about navigating a demanding career in healthcare. I believe that psychoanalyzing or shared experiences can help us understand ourselves better and make the necessary changes to stay happy and healthy through the process. We wanted a chance to do the job. Women for generations fought for gender equality in professional spaces, breaking barriers to the highest levels of academia and science. And now we finally got it. In fact, we got it all to ourselves. If you look at modern medical schools across Europe and the US, a striking demographic shift has occurred. In most medical universities, women make up 60 to 70% of graduating students. The data clearly shows that medicine is becoming more and more female. So today I wanted to talk about how eldest daughters quietly took over the medical field. What does that say about us psychologically, and what does that mean for us all socially? This topic is near and dear to my heart as the very first research project I did at the Department of Public Health and Medical Sociology focused on this exact phenomenon, that how many areas of conflict women in medicine have to face. So let's start with understanding why so many capable women end up in scrubs and why the healthcare system is the perfect trap for high achieving daughters. We often hear about the parentified child. This is a psychological blueprint that disproportionately affects eldest daughters in almost every culture. These are children who are given adult responsibilities early on. They become the emotional mediators in the house, the ones who look after younger siblings, the ones who manage domestic chaos, and the ones who learn that their value is directly tied to how useful, how reliable, and how invisible their needs are. When you grow up with this identity, you develop this hyper-responsibility complex. This comes with hypervigilance, constantly monitoring everyone's needs around the room, and often a toxic relationship with guilt. For this eldest daughter, setting a boundary or saying no triggers a primitive fear of causing disappointment. Now, imagine dropping this exact psychological profile into a modern hospital. The healthcare system is a bottomless pit of human suffering, understaffing, and administrative chaos. So it is a system by design that have no boundaries. And who is the ideal fuel for a system without boundaries? An eldest daughter who was conditioned to believe that saving everyone is their job. The system doesn't need to force you to do overtime or take on extra paperwork. It simply relies on your inability to walk away from suffering without feeling this immense guilt and personal failure. We are the ultimate cushion for a failing industry because our psychological wiring makes us pathologically responsible. But let's be fair and realistic. We aren't just victims of a system. We are, in fact, active participants. So let's dissect, what are we getting out of this? Why do we stay, and why are we so addicted to climbing this professional leaderboard? According to Desi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, and Ryan's self-determination theory and my own personal experience, a human being's core psychological need is a feeling of competence, that feeling of being effective and capable. Medicine is a highly structured, merit-based leaderboard. If you put in the work, you get the grade. If you follow the protocol, you save the life. For a girl who grew up needing external validation through achievement, medicine is an elite, socially accepted drug. It gives you this immediate megawatt validation. When a patient looks at you in the eye and thanks you, you know exactly what your worth is to the world on a Tuesday morning. It also provides financial independence, the safety of being a pillar for others, rather than having to rely on others for support. But this leads to a rather heavy question, that if our choice of this medical career is so pathological and trauma-based, does that mean that if we actually heal ourselves and transform our core motivations, do we lose the drive to stay in this career we worked decades to have? Think about it. If this eldest daughter goes to therapy and works on her savior complex and hyper responsibility, then what happens? She learns to separate her human worth from her productivity. She learns to think this understaffed ward is a systemic political failure, not my personal emergency. When you heal this wound, you realize that you don't actually owe your youth and your physical health to a hospital. Some people realize this after having their own health scare at an age that they never truly anticipated having it. Well, I think that this problem is a paradox, not an oxymoron. I believe that it's a chance to progressively transform the whole healthcare system into a more positive space by starting the transformation with our own minds and our own internal motivations and just the whole mindset around how we work and why we work. So, to answer the question, your drive won't disappear by healing, and not everyone has to quit their job to be happy and become an influencer instead. I think your drive is just gonna transform, and it's gonna transform the way you live. While in your unhealed phase, you worked out of a psychological sense of guilt. You pushed yourself to exhaustion because subconsciously you were still looking for love and recognition through your performance, just like as a child. So your identity was completely fused with your job. You were the doctor, and there was no separate person beneath that scrub. So the martyrdom ends and the healed phase starts when you stop defining your entire human worth by your clinical productivity. Your professional curiosity and a desire to feel competent remains intact, but your need to save everyone ends, and you can finally put down the pen at 4 p.m. and tend to other areas of your personality that were not there before. In the unhealed phase, we tend to look at other aspects of a healthy human life as just chores. Taking care of your home is a chore. It's called house chores. Taking care of your body is a chore. It's called I have to schedule my workouts, or I have to complete my 10,000 steps. And even feeding yourself is sometimes a chore, like I have to finish meal prepping for my day tomorrow. But the thing is that if all of these necessary life functioning things you just have to do so that you can keep up your job, which is your entire personality, then that is the definition of the unhealed phase. So entering your healed phase basically would mean that you are your own person, and being a doctor or working in healthcare is just your job. So you only have to do it for that set amount of hours in the week that you want to or that you have to. And in the rest of the time, you can become a well-rounded person who's grounded in reality and in balance, basically. By stopping the exhaustion, you can have some time to just really be bored with your thoughts and try to think back. Who were you before you took on the weight of the world on your shoulders? What were your passions or your little dreams and silly things that I know 2026 is all about talking about play and pleasure and how to integrate it into your day, but honestly, this is how the healed person's gonna keep working in healthcare if they choose to, is by integrating the fun stuff in your day too, diversifying yourself as a person, and to be able to say it guilt-free. I'm leaving at 4 p.m. because I'm going for my feminine dance class, and I'm going on the trip on the weekend with my dance group, or I'm picking up singing and I'm performing in a bar. Like, maybe I'm just saying my new passions, but whatever the passion was for you, this is the time to live it. Don't wait until you're retired to live it, basically. So healing doesn't drive you away from medicine, but it is the only thing that can keep you there by preventing the burnout. And I know saying it is easy. Like, we all heard it from older colleagues since even we were in med school, that we have to live now and enjoy our youth, and to not wait until we're retired, and to start families early and to have kids early, and all these things. And it is, sometimes it can feel like it's just impossible, and it's much easier to say than it's done. But then again, you're capable of so much. You're already doing really hard things. So how hard can it be to integrate fun into your days? I think this is also a skill, and you have to start developing it. Okay, let's zoom out and talk about the sociological aspects of the feminization of medicine and healthcare. The devaluation effect is a highly documented and well-known phenomenon in sociology. It means that historically, whenever a highly respected male-dominated profession becomes female dominated, whether it's biology, human resources, or teaching, the social prestige and the compensation of that field starts stagnating or dropping even. And this is because patriarchal societies structurally undervalue labor associated with nurturing or emotional output. So the market starts to reprice the profession. As medicine starts to feminize, we already see the soft exit of men from primary care and general clinical sections. They are either moving to highly specialized, invasive, high prestige subspecialties like neurosurgery or plastic surgery or orthopedics, or they are leaving medicine for tech and finance. And the grueling day-to-day emotional labor of medicine is being left to a demographic that the system knows will not walk away. Responsible, guilt-driven women. But there is a breaking point, and I don't believe that future generations of women are just gonna stay and put up with this. Let's just look at trends and the massive wave of quiet quitting that was trending on social media. Future generations of women in medicine are raising the bar, finally, not just for patient care, but for their own well-being. They are seeking fields and environments or specialized private sectors where high levels of competence can coexist with a functioning personal life. So it's not about leaving medicine behind and leaving a sinking ship. It's about changing the culture of medicine from martyrdom to sustainable excellence, like aesthetic medicine or health tech, teaching or academia, even private practices. I just don't want to end this video by saying that we should all be aesthetic medicine physicians, locum GPs, or ophthalmologists and dermatologists. I just want to say a few things for the girlies who are going to stay and who are going to keep running the hospital and being internal medicine physicians, because honestly, someone's going to do the job. And one day you're going to be the patient and you're going to be thanking God that they stayed. So my message for those girlies, even though I know that you guys are already like that, every time I meet a girl in an internal medical field, they are just such badasses and manage work-life balance astonishingly well. But I'm just gonna still say a few words. Let's learn from men. You know, before the feminization of this field, they were running the ward. How did they do it? Well, let's take a look at what sociology says about them. Historically, men are socialized for autonomy and self-assertion. In a clinical setting, this often translates to a greater comfort with setting rigid boundaries without carrying a sense of guilt. While for women, especially eldest daughters, the expectations are double-bind. This is the classic role conflict of women in medicine that I studied in my research. While women are expected to embody traditional medical authority, at the same time, society expects them to be uniquely nurturing and endlessly accommodating. Learning to navigate these dual expectations without burning out is the ultimate challenge for this generation. If a woman in medicine is soft, empathetic, and nurturing, she is often easily labeled by the patriarchal clinical system as weak, emotional, or less competent than her male peers. But if she adopts the traditionally masculine, highly confident, boundary-driven persona. She's labeled as aggressive, cold, or difficult to work with. So what we can learn from men is the art of guilt-free boundary setting. We need to learn that protecting our well-being and our mental health is not a betrayal of our patients, is a prerequisite to staying alive. Thank you so much for watching. If you're an eldest daughter navigating medicine, healthcare, or any high-pressure profession, leave a comment below. Let's talk about the weight you've been carrying. I'll see you in my next video. Take care.